This is G.I. Joburg, and today we're taking a look at the Heat Viper.
One of the more exotic Cobra troopers in the line with a pretty standard role, Bazooka Man. The Heat Viper is something taken from the future in ways only a designer from the 80s could imagine, with a bazooka that looks more like a giant plasma cannon than it does a rocket launcher. This rocket launcher, in my opinion, is one of the premier weapon sculpts in the Joe line. With its overstyling and bulk to the embossed Fang logo on its side, it's a fun toy and designed to pair with the Heat Viper through the use of one very tough looking hose. The Heat Viper himself has many design quirks that make for an exciting toy and awesome addition to Cobra's forces. 1. He has a fantastic backpack that seems designed to provide his suit with cooling. This is probably done to give him a low heat signature so that he can get the jump on Joe Sky Strikers and armored assaults. 2. He has rockets strapped to his legs. Now this could be seen as a bit nuts, and let's not kid ourselves, it is. But they are removable, and though easy to lose, this definitely added a lot of fun in play cycles. By having a missile, you could physically fly into your target. Now remember kids, this was before we had spring-loaded launchers. 3. His helmet. I for one really love the half shield design. One half is to allow him to see normally, while the other has all the diagnostics and targeting computer readouts. It even has added bulk to support this. Hasbro could easily have made a Cobra Viper with some different accessories to fulfill the role of the Bazooka Man, but they didn't. Instead, they chose to make a Cobra soldier that is flamboyantly clad in orange and purple, with an oversized technological nightmare of a rocket launcher. And I'm glad they did, because he is one of my personal favorites, and a necessary addition to any Joe collection.
I have a word for the fully complete and geared up Heat Viper, and that word is dainty. With 2 very thin posts for his attached hoses, 6 minute missiles, a backpack full of snappable points, and a rather brittle and thin handle on his included launcher, one begs the question, was this action figure ever intended for someone under the age of 25? The missiles alone are the perfect size for washing down the sink. I couldn't tell you where my original Heat Viper's ammo went. Probably my small intestine. Needless to say that for 25 years, he's been warding off Joe with a mean stare and an empty tube. An empty tube that he can't effectively hold because the handle broke. And the back peg on his backpack broke after a fall, leaving the peg stuck in his back. Don't you hate that? And the peg on the side of his helmet snapped off. My original Heat Viper was a mess, but it's okay, I got a new one. Let's examine some of his key design faults, shall we? Small parts being the first and most obvious. But G.I. Joe was all too happy to step up to the Kenner Star Wars plate when it came to producing accurately scaled weapons and equipment, even if it meant moving into the most minute set of equipment known to man. And it's one of the many reasons why Vintage Joe stands the test of time, and why we love it so. But the line managed to steer clear of including individual pieces of ordnance until 1984, and then only with the battlefield accessory sets that required such detail, including the bombs, grenades, rockets, or the individual bullet. It was a slippery slope of chicken played out by designers. Todd's working on the new accessories for Lowlight. They say he's doing a bullet box with removable bullet. Well, check this. We're working on a bullet with a removable casing. Yeah. And so on, and so on, and so on. In the case of the Heat Viper, yeah, it's nice. They all just hang off him. They can't interact with the gun. Spring fire weapons were still a year and a bit away, so they may well have been molded pieces. The way I see it, the great conceit of 1989 was that Heat Viper's missiles were removable, while Snake Eye's chest knives remained torturous eye candy. The hose situation was also getting a little ropey with this figure. He's got one running from his gun sight to his shoulder? Right up there in the realm of WTF as good old POC Beachhead's ankle pewter. And hose number 2 is so very, very thick that it puts undue strain on the peg that marries it to Heat Viper's helmet. I mean, at least that cable makes sense. Until it snaps. And then it's just sad. And speaking of the bloke's helmet, I know it's cool and iconic, but what the hell is it? It's like Judge Dredd meets Luke's blast shield. Assuming the silver side is transparent, and the orange side is fed optics from the weapon, has he got a chameleon ability to marry the disparate images in his brain? Sounds like the perfect recipe for a splitting headache if you ask me. He's orange. He's the first Viper to wear that particular hue, and that's the reason he's wearing it, because I can't think of a single other reason for wearing it other than being unique. Cobra started blue, then it was red, black, purple even. If they had left it at that, we'd have some cohesion. But by 89, a Cobra Fire team was a very colourful affair. I do like the use of purple. The strip on his chest has a felty texture for whatever reason. He doesn't seem to be wearing any body armor, but then again, he's not going to be going primary through any doorways now, is he? But he is a beefy figure. Check those guns! That barrel chest! Too bad he skips leg day. Now his backpack has this wicked exhaust pipe. It does beg the question, what is the pipe exhausting? The gases released from the Heat Viper's back hole? If you ask me, if you want one of his hoses to mean something, run it from the weapon to the pack. Or maybe it vents the blast from these two missiles. They're fixed in place, Boba Fett style. But I hate the idea of pack-launched ordnance. I hated it on Fett. Ditto on this guy, and this guy. Launching a missile from your back to travel over your head ain't smart. So I think of them as non-removable extra ammo. If his 6 removable missiles are high explosive anti-tank, the non-removable could be a saber round, or some kind of anti-air or dedicated anti-personnel round. My biggest complaint with this guy really? Yeah, at this scale the man's weapon is gigantic. And that would be okay if it fired a TOW rocket. But it fires something the size of a mortar round, or a law rocket. And here is Footloose's Law, and Snow Serpent's rocket launcher for size comparison. I remember thinking of this weapon as oversized when I was a 5-year-old, but it's by design. The weapon is a Hulk on the card art too. Don't get me wrong, it's an attractive design and I love the details. The Fang brand, the attached optics hose, in spite of what I said earlier. But it's got a frail little handle and it's too big and I don't like it. It gets carried underarm and is designed to be held by only one hand. So Heat Vipers better be superhumanly strong, or this is the lightest giant gun ever. Thank goodness this artist had the presence of mind to correct the insanity, depicting his Heat Viper wielding the weapon resting on his shoulder. Too bad nobody gave Cobra Commander the memo. But when a Heat Viper is wielding it, be it overarm or underarm, there is little hope of reloading it. It's not like his buddy Frag Viper's clever system. Grenade rolls out from pack, down this tube, and into basket. Maybe it's a 2-man operation. One runs ahead with the gun, the other runs behind with the ammo. I don't hate this toy. I don't. It's top quality in every respect and represents a lot of good material, paint, design, and conceptualization. All I'm saying is that perhaps it's a little too fiddly for its own good. If you were like the child me when it came to this toy, you pretty much broke everything that you didn't immediately lose. And if you're like the boring adult me, you hardly play with the damn thing for fear of breaking it. This photo shoot was at times terrifying. So what do? There is no middle ground. You're either super conservative, or you have a broken toy. We hope you enjoyed G.I. Joburg's review of the Heat Viper. Be sure to subscribe for new episodes. And if there's a toy you'd like us to review, put a request in the comments section.